Today I'll cover how to customize lxterminal in PuppyLinux. I'll be demonstrating in a PuppyLinux 64, a recent version, CE4. So this is what you see. Go ahead and configure the a simple screen recorder, especially the sound setting, so I can record this. And also I made the fonts much bigger because one of the users noticed that it is somewhat difficult to read. So for example, with a lxterminal, these letters are very big, and also what is displayed here underneath is somewhat big. So I'll cover this, but let's just go ahead and take a look at the default terminal emulator, usually in URXVT in most of PuppyLinux ISOs. So this is what it looks like in URXVT, and similarly I've also made the lettering much bigger. So just as a background, these the fonts are not the usual default setting, but otherwise pretty much stock. I have installed through the Puppy package manager Ubuntu font. So otherwise it's pretty much the stock default Pub 64. So when you first start the lxterminal, what you have is this with a menu bar, and my preference is to go ahead and under my preferences, and I have made it extra large, monospace 14. And I like a blinking cursor. Block is fine. And then under display, top position, scroll lines, 1000 is fine. And I like to hide the scroll bar and use the shift and page up and down key, and we'll also hide the menu bar here and hide close buttons, because usually it's the Alt F4 that closes any application, but terminal I found it just as much easier just to type and exit. So we'll just go ahead and do that, and advanced is fine, and shortcuts. Just zoom in and out. I'll go ahead and change it to Control plus to zoom in, zoom out, Control minus, and we'll go ahead and make it okay. So right now present, so working directory, and we can just go ahead and reset first. So present working directory, and then we'll see if it enlarges. So yes, it does, and it gets smaller, so this should be fine. Okay. Now generally speaking, when I start lxterminal, I like to have it not start in the usual place of a left upper quadrant, but I like to have it much smaller down here every time I start the lxterminal. So the way we do that is by modifying lxterminal, and then we can go ahead and get a help file. So we do that by geometry right here, by not only columns or rows, but also we can also place it in horizontal and vertical axis. So that for my monitor, this combination works the best, and it's somewhat of a trial and error. Is lxterminal space dash dash geometry equals 92 times 22 plus 808 and 522. So again, this is the 92 is the this character, 22 is the number of characters this way, 808 is where the left upper quadrant of the lxterminal starts, and then this is the vertical so the pixel. So if I just go ahead and enter this, this is what happens, that is placed here exactly where I want it. So we'll go ahead and get out of this, and also we can similarly we can just go ahead and launch the URXVT, and then we can go ahead and just give it a same coordinate. Do this, and then the middle mouse click, and then go ahead and start the lxterminal right in this fashion using URXVT. So that seems to work fine. So we want that to occur every time I enter the super key and T combination. So the way we do that is by modifying the file here. So what I have loaded here is the under root. There's a .jwm folder. There's a file jwmrc-personnel file, which is mainly used for key binding. So the line of interest is right now Super NT just launches lxterminal, but we're going to just go ahead and delete that line, and then we'll just go ahead and enter the line of key mask, same command, except that we're going to add the geometry that we went over just now. So we'll go ahead and save that file, and then we'll go ahead and enter JWM restart. That forces reading the rereading of the file. So go ahead and then we'll go ahead and exit out of that. And what will happen now, we're going to close this first, is that when I enter Super T, it's gonna the lxterminal is gonna show up right there. So right now Super T. Now on our rocks file, I'm just gonna start the rocks filer, which is right here under options. You can go ahead and go down to the menus, and here we can enter lxterminal. So what is you make sure that this is clicked, open terminal with gray key. So that's a key right next to the left upper key of escape. Right below the key is just a squiggly line, tilde. You can, that will when you tap on that key, it's gonna trigger the lxterminal. So you'll notice the geometry here is I've changed the geometry a little bit here. So for my monitor, I'll show you what these numbers do. So it's gonna start the terminal here, just like a XFCE terminal. Just a drop down, what's called a drop down terminal. Make sure that this last four code is entered exactly. That way you can, no matter which folder you're starting from, that this will occur. So what that will do is we'll just give it an OK, and then here we're starting at the root level. So we'll just tap on the grave key, and you'll see that the lxterminal is starting over here. So again, just when I enter the when I launch the lxterminal just with the Super T key, it starts down there. So, but when and then we'll go ahead and when I have a LX terminal here starting, I know right away that this is a terminal that originated from the rocks. So here we can go ahead and just see that present working directory is root. So we'll go ahead and exit there. So for example, you can go ahead and change to another folder, and then here again the grave key, I'll just tap, so let me just tap the grave key again. It starts it here, so then we can look in the PWD, and here I'm starting at /etc. So I'll go ahead and so I've shown briefly how to manipulate LX terminals. So it starts here and also simulates the drop-down terminal that you see sometimes in Linux.